Walking 10,000 steps per day is a goal set by so many people. So, for the next 30 days, that's what I'm doing. I've seen this goal set by a lot of different corporations or companies or exercise bands. You'll see on commercials where it has the 10,000 steps per day. I knew this was based on faulty science, but I still really wanted to look into why the common goal is 10,000 steps per day. I was listening to a podcast a while ago called Maintenance Phase, and they took a deep dive into the 10,000 steps per day goal, why it's a thing, how it got started, and I'll put a link to all of their resources and to that podcast in my description below. The origin for 10,000 steps per day really came from a research team in Japan that was worried about obesity taking over the country. They found that 3,000 to 5,000 steps per day was the country average. They reasoned that if they doubled the amount of steps per day to 10,000, it could amount to an extra 300 to 400 calories burned per day. The slogan 10,000 steps per day originated in Japan around 1965 after the Tokyo Olympics, and thought it would decrease the risk of coronary heart disease. On a normal day, I find it difficult to get the 10,000 steps per day. I work from home, I work a desk job, which means I'm not moving around that much unless I plan to move around that much. I do have a general plan to make it easier. I'm going to take 4 walks per day, do a morning walk for 1 mile, same with lunch. I'll do a mile walk, afternoon mile walk, and then after my evening workout, I'll walk 2 miles, which should add up to about 10,000 steps because, at least according to my watch, 1 mile is around 2,000 steps for me. So if I just do that 5 times, then I should be getting that 10,000 steps per day. Going back to the research that was done in Japan in the 1960s, it didn't test for different amounts of steps per day. They just tested 10,000 and said that that should solve it. In the 60 years since then, research has actually shown that a minimum between 6,000 to 8,000 steps per day is more ideal for the general public. Currently, scientists are also testing if there is a maximum steps per day before that becomes unhealthy as well. Obviously, this amount varies between age, gender, any other health conditions that you may have, your weight when you're going on these walks, your height. It takes all of that into account, but the research didn't necessarily give any specifics. The current research is being done to see if 15,000 steps and 18,000 steps per day has any different effect versus the 10,000 steps. One thing I noticed about doing the 10,000 steps per day is how annoying it is sometimes. Mostly on the weekends, I really like to just relax and do basically nothing. But for this, because I needed to hit the 10,000 steps, I would eat my lunch and then just go on a 4-mile walk and then hope that the normal moving around the rest of the day would help me get that 10,000. Normally around 8 or 9 p.m., I would check to see where I was at and then either have to do the walking pad at night, go outside and walk at night, or just pace around my home until I hit that 10,000, which was super annoying because by that point I would just want to relax and hang out. Over these 30 days, I walked a total of 355,980 steps, which comes out to an average of 11,866. And as for the challenge, I did walk over 10,000 steps every single day. The fewest I had was 10,227, and the most I had was 13,692. Based on these last 30 days, I don't think there's going to be anything that I change from the previous 30 days. I was already around 6 to 8,000 steps per day. So I was already pretty active, and I really didn't notice much of a difference. I had already been going on 1 or 2 walks a day for a mile and a half, which helps clear my mind, helps me think through certain things, and I was already getting that benefit. Walking another 2 times a day didn't really change anything for me. So going forward, I'll be back to that 6 to 8,000 per day. With, of course, I'll have some days over 10,000, just not intentional. This has been 10,000 steps per day. Let me know what other challenges I should try.